Having a job at Playtime is more of a punishment than a career. Not only are you being watched 24/7, but giant bloodthirsty toys surround you at every corner. If you thought the orphans had it rough, then wait till you see the unspeakable torment endured by its employees. One of the most common questions asked is how were the staff able to morally do what they did? The orphans were put through hellish conditions, and no adult went out of their way to help them. But it turns out, not everything was sunshine and rainbows for them either. I would like to draw your attention to the Porta Lounge. In the orientation book, the Porta Lounge was described as the employees' mental health retreat. In several areas of the factory, we've introduced another of our great original ideas, the Porta Lounge. These may look like ordinary equipment lockers painted in bright colors, and that's exactly what they are. If you feel overwhelmed by your responsibilities or a colleague is driving you crazy, step into a Porta Lounge for a mental health break. Stay in there as long as you need to. At first, we could say that Playtime Co. was genuinely concerned with their employees' well-being. They made sure to give them a dedicated space where they could calm down. Moreover, it was as if Playtime Co. was already giving their employees a hint about what kind of work is waiting for them. For breaks longer than 5 minutes, your pay will be docked. No more than 1 break is to be taken per 4-hour shift. Please do not scream while inside the Porta Lounge. While Playtime tries to do something positive for their employees, it's always just a disguise, and the note left by PW on this page is a little alarming. I make use of these pretty regularly working in the labs. In fact, there is often a waiting list to use them. With all the activities going on in the lab, it would be normal for him to use the Porta Lounge to give himself a break. But it's the last line that's a bit chilling. One of them literally saved my life once. Working firsthand with the experiments, it would be possible to encounter an evil toy. This could happen at almost any time given the nature of his work. The idea of hiding in the locker could be a dangerous step because you could potentially be trapped inside. And that's even worse if there was an evil toy lurking around trying to hunt you down. However, with PW stating that he was using the locker almost every day, he must have known that this locker worked well as a hiding spot. It's possible he escaped an evil toy using the Porta Lounge. Page 134 of the orientation book is about the Destroy a Toy facility. This page is talking about how the company doesn't want rejected or faulty toys getting out into the world. If these toys were to get out, they could do some serious harm to the reputation of the Playtime company. So instead of just throwing out the defective toys in the trash, Playtime Co. created the Destroy a Toy facility. According to the orientation book, the unwanted toys can be incinerated using flames and lava-creating devices. It was described as a very hot area, to the point that their employees were forced to work only with their underwear, something that the company forbade. Despite the weather conditions of the area, they emphasized that all their employees must wear shirts and pants at all times. Now, if you are still thinking that the company cares about its employees, this is the part where you might change your mind. The note continues. You may think it's strange to devote such a large area of the factory to destroying the toys, but it's just another one of those things we do differently here. We take destruction very seriously. On his note at the end of the page, PW stated, "Someone put a note in the employee suggestion box saying we should include this on the tour and let kids throw toys into the lava. I think some of the executives were in favor because it would mean we didn't have to employ as many people to work the incinerators if we could get kids doing it for free. Others thought we shouldn't encourage kids to see our toys as trash to be burned. I can see both angles. The only angle I can see on this note is the pattern going on in the executives' minds. After all, the company is not really thinking about their employees, but only about profit and reputation. They never cared that their employees were slowly getting torched while working in the hellish incinerators. Instead, they were only thinking about using children to do their jobs to decrease their production costs. Page 127 of the orientation book is a little bit dark, as it was all covered from notes from PW. The note states that the feeding pit is a section of abandoned sewer systems with unused pipes in the walls. This is where the Wuggies live, as in feral mini Huggies. Another note was posted, saying, "There is no way to get out of the feeding pit, not by yourself, so you can only hope people like you enough to pull you out if you happen to fall in." This feeding pit was not just an ordinary abandoned sewer system, but another example of how twisted and evil Playtime Co. is. When Playtime opened, this pit was intentionally engineered to punish its employees who failed to follow the demands of its higher-ups. The only way for you to survive this pit is for others to pull you out. But knowing Playtime, they would make sure that no one came to your rescue. The next page we are going to talk about is the counselor's offices and the roles of the counselors in Poppy Playtime. The orientation book states, "The counselors act as the parental figures of the orphans, looking after their day-to-day needs. Counseling sessions that take place in the office are usually for traumatized and sensitive orphans. The counselor's office is also where the files on the children were stored. Although the orientation book stated that the files contain sensitive information, it seems to me that this is written as an invitation to curious minds. We know they're very interesting. Some of those orphans have unbelievable backstories, but they should not be read without the explicit permission of Stella Graber, whose office is also located here." Also attached to the page is the note written by PW, stating that he is not sure which of the counselors knows about the experiments. However, he believes that the senior counselors truly know what is going on. That is because only specific counselors take the children to and from the game station. He also noted that the other counselors must not know what these games are all about. However, as counselors, they must have been able to tell whether the orphan's trauma is from their past or if they have developed new stresses. It would be easy to spot if these kids were intentionally traumatized. If what was written on the note was true, these counselors were probably just as evil as the heads at Playtime. After all, they were the ones handling the delicate subjects of the experiments. There was also a chance that these counselors were only forced to do what they were doing. This fits in line with every other employee of the company. He goes on to write about counselors having figured something strange was going on, since all the orphans were suddenly finding homes and moving out. With Playtime Co.'s ongoing experiments, it's easy to tell that these orphans were far from living their lives to the fullest. Let me know in the comments who you think were the worst staff members at Playtime. Don't forget to like this video and check out these videos on the screen.